Hello and welcome to the Vanguard of Light. So we're going mobile. Obviously I'm driving. You can see that's not green screen. That's actually happening. Or is it? So today we are talking about, do you get to choose? And I want you to just analyze, do you think this is a choice? Now say you lived in the United States, right? And you can always choose your home country. You pick 3 of the big cities, right? So we pick like New York, LA, and Chicago, right? And if I said, you get to live in one of those 3 cities. You get to choose which one of those 3 cities you're going to live in. Does that feel like a choice? Did I give you a choice to choose where you live? By giving you 3 options of those cities. Now, what happens if I reduced it down a bit and said, okay, I'm going to let you live. You get to choose. I mean, you're going to have to pay and you're going to have to figure all that stuff out. But I'm going to give you a choice to live in 3 different places inside of Chicago. I've already picked the city Chicago, but you're gonna live 3 places in Chicago, 3 neighborhoods that you get to choose from. Does that feel like a choice that you get to choose where you live? If you get a choice of 3 neighborhoods. What if I honed it down and said, okay, you get to pick any of these 3 houses on this street. I'll choose the street, I'll choose the city, I'll choose the country, but you get to choose which of these 3 houses you're gonna live in. Does that feel like a choice? Does that feel like you're getting to choose where you live? If those are the constraints. So just ponder that a second, and probably you're gonna see where I'm going with this of maybe it felt like a choice with the 3 cities, but if you didn't want to live in a city, then that definitely didn't feel like a good choice. But at least you sort of had a choice. But then when I pared it down to 1 city and 3 neighborhoods, it probably felt less of a choice. And it really probably stopped feeling like a choice when I chose what street you live on. And now you only have 3 choices of, houses to live in. Now, obviously we could pare it down of okay, it's going to be this apartment building and you get to choose one of these 3 apartments. Even though it's the same thing as you got a choice of 3, it seems like it's a choice, but it doesn't feel like a choice. And I'm gonna put this to you. Does your life possibly feel like that? I mean, it might feel like you got a bunch of choices, okay, choose anything you want. But if you've gone after that and you haven't been successful, or not nearly as successful as you want to be, or you've got the life that you thought you were choosing, but it doesn't feel fantastic, my question is, how much of that was pre-limited? How much of that were you going in with just a crummy set of choices to where it was you didn't have much to choose from? It was choose this, or that, because all the other ones didn't feel safe, didn't feel good. You couldn't actually go and explore what you really was put in your heart of what you want to do. So if you want to find out if that's true, that possibly the life you're living and your best life ever might not be even on the plate. You might not even have it as an option to choose. So imagine that if you don't even have the option to choose your best life ever, you just get to choose something that someone else chose that's going to be quote unquote good for you, of hey, I chose you a good city, I chose you a good street, I chose you a good apartment building. But if that doesn't match up what's in your heart, none of those choices are going to be worthwhile. They're going to be terrible. It's not going to feel oh, I've got this amazing freedom to create my life any way I want. It's going to feel like I'm in a prison. Even though you have freedom to make those 3 choices. And even if I upped it to oh, you get to live on this street and you can choose any of the houses on the street. If that street isn't the bomb street that you want to live on, it's not going to feel like much of a choice. It's going to feel like a prison. So, would you like to find out if you might be in an energetic prison to where oh my gosh, the game you're playing in is not even the game you want to play in? If you do, check out my challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. It's completely free, and it'll start cracking open these invisible prisons to where you wake up of oh my gosh, what has been going on? And that's how you'll get to your most magical life. So come join me. And until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.